Hello, friends, and welcome to Wake Nation 21, the first and only fan fueled YouTube channel dedicated to everything Wake Forest athletics. Basketball season is upon us. The Deacs took out and I'm not kidding, their name is the American Eagles, 88-74 last night in what I thought was an exciting and encouraging win. We had what I liked was just the ball movement, the balance, the athleticism, the aggressiveness on defense. There was a lot to like about the game last night. And this American team, though picked fourth in the Patriot League in the preseason polls this year, was a NCAA first four team last year. And so, they lost some players, but they also brought back some players. So I don't think this was a chump team that we played. And there's a lot to talk about regarding the game in general. Let's just start with what Coach Forbes said after the game, his thoughts. He gave American a lot of credit. Coach Simpkins and his team really came in and played a very disciplined game on offense. He talked about them focusing on not letting us beat them from 3-point range. We had been in our two exhibition games really prolific from 3-point range, making 15 and 16 threes in our first couple exhibition games. We were 23 for 34 at the rim. That's not bad, but we were only 1 for 12 on uncontested threes. 20 assists on 31 baskets. You can never complain about the ball movement like that. And I thought, Nate Calmese did a great job overall of distributing the basketball. He was credited for 5 steals, but it felt like he had 10 steals during the game. I thought Makai Mason was as advertised. I thought Trayvon Spillers took even another step from last year. Juke appears to be taking his next steps. And overall, I just felt like the game was a big success. Now, did we blow them out by 30, 40 points like some people would want us to? And because of Ken Palm and us having trauma about being on the bubble, it was it important for us to put them away, and did our inability to put them away kind of, was that discouraging to me? Perhaps a little bit, but I also think, hey, it's the first game of the season. There's a lot of nerves. There's a lot going on. And so just overall, I felt like the game went really well. Let's take a look at the box score. So Greg Jones for them coming in is the preseason Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He ended up with 4 steals, showing just like how good he is on defense. This Wyatt, I'm going to butcher his name, number 7, the guy with the first name Wyatt, just seemed to be shooting lights out, especially from 3, 4 from 8 from 3. But with us, it was just incredible balance. We had Trayvon with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, only 1 turnover. Omaha, he didn't score a lot, but I thought his athleticism defensively, his versatility defensively looked pretty good. Juke played a really good game overall. I thought, 18 points, 7 rebounds. Nate Calmese, there were concerns about Calmese and his ability to take care of the basketball. We knew he was going to be able to distribute, but was he going to have a lot of turnovers? That was not the case, at least in this game. He had kind of a crazy stat line, only 10 points, but he was 2 for 3 from 3 point range, which we had concerns. He had a history of being a good 3 point shooter at some points in his career, but last year kind of struggled from three at Washington State. He had 9 assists, 5 steals, only 2 turnovers. Makai Mason, who everyone has expected to be our leading scorer, 20-point double double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Just these steals numbers were crazy. I thought, Marcus Marion, he did not do anything on the stat sheet except block one shot. He looked all right. Sebastian Akins, to me, he made a few boneheaded decisions and got a little over his skis in terms of wanting to do some special things out there when maybe he could have made, more, you know, better decision making, basically. But I thought he looked the part of an ACC backup point guard that we could really depend on, and he would be good for us. And Miles Colvin, in terms of just having a backup wing of that caliber, I don't remember us having a backup wing who is as talented, as gifted, as a Miles Colvin coming over from Purdue, having experience in, playing in national championship games. We only shot 28% from 3 point range. And I know there were some demons from last year that, I think they said on the broadcast, the third worst 3 point shooting team out of 300 and some teams last year. And it felt at the beginning of the season, we weren't hitting threes. And then we thought eventually, well, the threes are going to start coming. I'm not concerned about it this year. And here's the reason. Last year, we turned into a team with two ball stoppers on offense. And while we excelled defensively last year, our offense, when the ball got into the hands of Hunter Salas or into the hands of Cam Hildreth, we played a lot of this one-on-one basketball where, as great as those guys were, they were so ball dominant that it seemed to disrupt the flow of just getting everyone involved. And so then by the time more people got involved and people did get a chance to get up a shot or two, they hadn't seen a shot in minutes at a time. And they just weren't able to get into the flow of taking numerous shots, being a consistent part of the offense. And I think what I see different this year, and it's indicative with the 20 assists on 31 baskets, is just the ball movement. The ball movement was elite last night, and everyone got involved consistently. And I think when you have a team where everyone gets involved consistently and everyone is sharing the basketball, and you're going to just have a better chance to hit those open shots because you've been in the flow for a longer time of the game. Now, what I didn't like. So the main things I liked were just it was a dunk fest in the first half. The way we were passing the ball was beautiful pretty much the entire game. 16 steals. I know coach said we got a little over aggressive with some of that, and hence that high number of steals. And so, there's some give and take with that, but I really liked just the scrappiness and if Cal Meese can be a disruptor as a defender with really good size at the point guard position, and then even Sebastian with his athleticism at the point guard position, I just saw a team with a lot of positional length, positional versatility. Now we don't have the height right now, and hopefully we'll get Cooper Schwieger back for the Michigan game because their bigs, and we're going to get into it in a second, are just crazy. And without him, I just don't see how there's any chance. There might not be a chance regardless. Uh, you know, I just liked what I saw overall from the team. What I didn't like is we never put them away. We would get these 14, 16-point leads. They would go on these little mini runs. We would let them back in it. And some of that was a function of just bad luck. I think there were a few times where we had gimmies and the ball just didn't go in the basket, or we had open looks from three and they just didn't fall down. And then give credit to American, they came back down and they hit some shots, and it just kind of kept them in range throughout the whole game. But I didn't get the sense, and I don't think you guys watching got the sense that the game was ever in doubt. And that's good enough for me for the opening game. And I didn't care as much about, I know we need it for the Kim Pom. I didn't care as much about the final score as much as I cared about the style of play offensively. And I thought the style of play offensively was night and day from last year. And if we continue to play with that style, we have the ability to compete with a lot of teams this year. The other thing I probably didn't like, besides the steals, our defense, we've given up 70 points to East Tennessee State University. We gave up 74 points last night to American. A really good defensive team, we would hope, would be able to hold programs like that closer to the 50s or 60s. Coach Forbes' teams have had trouble in the past when they get in rotation, when teams' offense gets them in rotation and they're able to swing the ball and find open shooters because we can't get back to the defenders once we, hedge really heavily onto screens and stuff like that. But, I thought overall just a great start to the season. And Shane's not with us today. Shout out to Shane. But Shane compared the athleticism of Miles Colvin to Vince Carter. And I'm not going to lie, Shane, underneath, I had seen Miles Colvin's athleticism just watching him last year at Purdue, looking at his highlight tape. But I wasn't ready. I was kind of like, ooh, you're throwing out some Vince Carter comparisons. I don't know if that's where we want to go. But at least on this one play, my goodness gracious, what a play. Just hit his head on the backboard. There are pictures out there that show his head is grazing the backboard on this dunk, but I'm just going to play it and let you guys enjoy it for a second. What a crazy play. And Akins, as first year with the program, true sophomore, just the balls. He had the balls a couple times, and it worked out this time, but a couple times it didn't work out. But just having the balls to throw this, and then Miles having the athleticism to complete this play, just absolutely nuts.
Akins looking high. My goodness! Miles Colvin, welcome to the moment.
I'm going to show it one more time. They showed the replay from different angles, and it was just nuts.
Akins looking high. My goodness! Miles Colvin.
Now, that might be one of the best dunks we'll see in college basketball all year. That really might be. And so just shout out to Miles Colvin. I know his dad played in the NFL and he has some elite athleticism, but I didn't even know he had those types of hops. And the other time when he was on a secondary break and he just tried to you know, he tried to Danny Green someone. Gosh, who was it? For Duke that one year when Danny Green just crucified the guy at the rim. They should have called a foul. Coach Forbes called timeout because he was so mad that they did not call a foul when Miles Colvin was on that secondary break and just took off from it seemed like almost the free throw line to just dunk on the heads of dudes. So overall, just a really good win. I just want to put some context as well for those of you who might be a little, skeptical or feeling suspect about the final score and how things turned out. Let's just look at last night was a big night for college basketball in terms of teams playing their first games. And let's just look at how some of the top 25 teams in the preseason poll did against lower opponents. So St. John's blew out Quinnipiac. Arizona, my secondary team, took out the Gators. What a game. Koa Pete. My goodness. That young man looks like he could be the best freshman in the country. UConn over New Haven, Arkansas over Southern. But then let's look at some scores that are more similar to what we did against lesser opponents. So we've got Tennessee only beating Mercer by 15 points. We've got number 22 Michigan State only beating Colgate by 11 points. We've got Carolina destroying Central Arkansas. We've got Houston only beating Lehigh by 18 points. They did outscore them and maybe played a lot of backups after having a huge first half lead, but Lehigh outscored Houston in the second half. Where's another? I know there was another one as well. Oh, yeah, Auburn. So Auburn preseason ranked 20th, playing Bethune-Cookman. It took them overtime to beat Bethune-Cookman 95-90. And so it just kind of shows you, that anything can happen, especially in these early season games against exhibition teams. Coach Forbes mentioned that he didn't have any tape on what they were going to look like this year. You only have tape on what their rosters did last year, and so you don't know with the new personnel exactly what it's going to look like. But there's one game we do need to look at, and that is the Michigan-Oakland game. So Michigan, who we play, not to look ahead past Morehead State. I know the players have to focus on Morehead State, but we as fans, we can look ahead. After we play Morehead State, we have to go to Ann Arbor to take on this Michigan Wolverine team. And this Michigan Wolverine team put up 121 points in regulation. Now, they did give up 78, which, that's good for us in terms of what we might be able to do offensively. But they scored a program record 69 points in the first half. And if you just look at their roster, Ade Mara, who was the 15th ranked player in his class from Spain. He was at UCLA last year, transferred over to Michigan. The dude is 7'3". 7'3". So that's a problem. Morez Johnson Jr., who transferred from Illinois, 6'9", 250. not 6'9", 220 like Marcus Marion, 6'9", 250. They got Elliot Cadeau from Carolina, had 12 assists last night. You know, Mara's stats: 12 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks at 7'3". Trey McKinney, who was the, I think, 21st ranked player, is a true freshman, you know, drops 21 points, combo guard. So this Michigan team is absolutely loaded. They are absolutely a national championship type contender of a team. And as good as our front line is athletically, we do not have, without Cooper Schwieger coming back for the Michigan game, and even if he does come back, we do not have the size to play with a 7'3" center. And, you know, I'm very confident that Trayvon Omaha can, you know, play well and fine against Morez Johnson Jr. And I think the Cadeau and, you know, basically what we saw from our point guard play last year, I think that can kind of, Calmise and Cadeau can kind of be similar. And then we have good wings like Colvin, like Juke, like Miles. I think we can match up pretty much everywhere except on the size front. We have good size across the guard and wing positions. But if there is a glaring weakness at this point, it's just the fact that we don't have anyone who is over 6'9" playing right now. And even Cooper Schwieger is only 6'10". And so when we go up against Michigan, if we're going to have any chance, we are going to have to be as physical as possible. And we're going to have all 5 of our guys fighting for rebounds. Like we have to win. We may not be able to win the rebound battle at the center and power forward positions, but we have to win the rebound battle as far as our small forwards, our shooting guards, and even our point guards getting in there and, you know, fighting for rebounds. And then stopping a guy at 7'3" offensively, you know, without Schwieger, that's going to be a major challenge. So that's what we have coming down the pipe. We are going to learn a lot about this basketball team in the next 2 weeks. We have a chance to play Purdue, uh, you know, in within 2 to 3 weeks as well. So we're going to learn a lot about us. But I think in terms of like how we started, I am very encouraged at this point because we didn't shoot well from three. I don't think it's going to be like last year. I think we will be a very good 3-point shooting team because we have the shooters and because of our style of play. Our style of play was so much different than last year. We did not depend on anyone to go ISO. I'm the guy, Hunter Salas. I'm the guy, Cam Hildreth. I'm going to make a one-on-one play to score. I don't think I saw that the entire game. What I saw was team offense where everybody on the court was able to pass. Everyone on the court was willing to pass. And the ball just got like everyone shared it with everyone, right? And so if we continue to play that style, I think we're going to be a very good offensive team this year. I think defensively, we're not necessarily going to know exactly what we have until we get Schwieger back. And I think Schwieger is going to be very important for us. but I'm feeling really good right now. I really am. I feel like we have guys, multiple guys, who are capable of scoring 20 points on any given night. Spillers did it last night. Mason did it last night. I could easily see Miles Colvin having 20-point games, easily see Cal Meese having 20-point games. Although, if he wants to average, like I said last video, 10 points and 10 assists a game, like that's get to the league that way. Like, and then just the aggressiveness with I know Coach Forbes always emphasizes ripping when players are trying to make moves and getting those steals. If we can continue to rip and create turnovers just with the athleticism on this basketball team, us in the fast break game, if Akins can make a couple better decisions, but also he threw a half court alley to Colvin. I just feel like we have a roster that can compete in the ACC with just about anyone. And I feel really good about this first game of the season. So that's basically all I've got for today. If we want to just watch it one more time, share it with all your friends, head on the back of the rim. Just, it was a dunk fest in the first half. It wasn't just this dunk, it was Calmise had a dunk. Spillers had like 3 or 4 dunks.
Akins looking high. My goodness! Miles Colvin, welcome to the moment.
Welcome to the moment. Welcome to the Deacs, Miles Colvin. My goodness. And that just shows like the athleticism on the wings. I think that can be a strength offensively and defensively. I think Mason can be a secondary ball handler as a combo shooting guard who can shoot threes really well, but he can also pass. I saw Spillers make some great passes. The way Spillers filled up the stat sheet just showed me that he's continued to develop. He's just an all around guy who I think has a chance to be an all ACC guy this year because he does everything well. He does everything well. So, yeah, I'm just really excited about this basketball team. I think this might be the year. We can hope against hope, copium, whatever you want to call it. But I'm hoping this year that because of the changes we've made to the offense, and I don't know how much that has to do with us bringing in the NBA assistant coach, but the changes we've made to the offense look incredible. And if we can clean up a couple things, I think this could be a really special team. So Friday, 7 p.m., we got Morehead State. Let's take care of business. Let's not let them allow them to stay in the game. Let's keep the ball movement up, but let's knock down some more open threes. Let's have a little better luck around the rim. And let's just put them away. And then we can start to think about how in the hell are we going to deal with the size of Michigan? And let's cross our fingers that Cooper Schwieger can be back for that game to give us just a little more size, because as athletic and talented as, Spillers and Bill you are, they're 6'8" and 6'7" apiece. And the guy for Michigan is 7'3", 7'3". Yeah. And he's good. He's skilled. He's a 5-star. So we'll see. But great win for the Deacs. I'm really excited for the team. I think we have more balance than we've had in a long time. I'll check in with you guys. Try to get Shane on later this week to preview the football game against Virginia. I think it's a great opportunity to bounce back. I know Virginia has won a lot of games this year, and they're at the top of the conference in football right now. But at the same time, they barely beat Washington State. They've had to hold on for some tight wins against opponents who, aren't any better than Wake. It'll be interesting to see who starts at quarterback this week. I hope they go ahead and give it to Deshaun. I'm kind of done with the Robbie Ashford experiment. But we'll see. Either way, what a great start to the basketball season. I encourage you guys to go back and watch the game and just focus on just the way we moved the ball. It was beautiful. It was the beautiful game. Not quite the 2014 Spurs, but it was the beautiful game. And that's the kind of basketball I want to watch. So go Deacs. Thanks you guys for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're not subscribed to us at this point and you're a Wake Forest fan, what are you doing with your life? It's hard to be a Wake fan. It's even harder to be a Wake Forest content creator. Just to help us get the word out, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We'll see you next time, and go